hurry. Okay, put your chips down.
It's finally fall, my favorite season. Time to get outside and enjoy this beautiful weather and enjoy the harvest season by apple picking at a local farm. Today we're trying to make 3 recipes from my farm fresh apples: homemade applesauce, apple butter, and apple bread. But let's see how much I can actually get done while entertaining a busy toddler. Apple picking and pumpkin picking later in the season are some of the fall activities that I love the most. Each year I arrange to go out with my family, and it's a fun way for us to spend time together and enjoy what I think is the best weather that Ohio has to offer in the early fall. I was filming this video in early September. As you can see, the leaves on the trees haven't started to turn yet. By now, when I'm recording the audio, we're starting to get some beautiful fall foliage here as well. Making homemade applesauce is easy. First you have to cut, peel, and core your apples. They do make fancy kitchen gadgets that will do this for you, but if you only have a few small bags of apples like I did, this is really the easiest way. I cut up my apples a few days after getting home from the farm. Quick tip for you: if you place your apples in a bowl of cold water with a little bit of lemon juice, it will prevent them from browning while you're cutting up the rest of your apples. And stuck some in the freezer that I knew I would want to cook later, because I didn't have space in the fridge to put all of the apples in. This step actually made it super simple to get the applesauce going, because all I had to do was put the frozen pre-cut apples in a pan on the stove with a small amount of water to make sure that they didn't scorch on the bottom of the pan. Then I waited for some time for the apples to cook down, and then you can add sugar if you like. I chose not to this time because I thought the apples tasted sweet enough on their own. You can see the apples are starting to break down here. Would you like an apple? Apple?
No.
Hello, good morning. It is finally fall, and I'm really excited today that I get to process some apples that we were able to pick up from the local farm. We're going to make some applesauce, some apple bread, and some apple butter. It should be a really fun time, so let's get into it. With the applesauce going on the stove, I started to cut up the apples for the apple butter and the apple bread with my little kitchen helper in tow. After he got tired of snacking on apples in his high chair, I gave him a kid-safe wood knife so that he could help me chop apples. This was fun, but slowed down the process for sure because he wanted to touch every apple. Once the apples were chopped, I added them to a pot with some sugar, cinnamon, and a little water to make the apple butter. It simmered on the stove for a few hours until it reached a thick and spreadable consistency. That aroma filled the house and made it truly feel like fall. I originally had hoped that I'd be able to can some of these apples into applesauce. It doesn't really look like I have enough apples to do that. Looking at the recipe that I have in my book.
I did that.
You did do that. Don't drop any more. It calls for about 12 pounds of apples. I think I bought about 15 pounds of apples total. We've been eating the apples for the past couple weeks, so I don't have that many apples anymore. Here, use your chopper on the apples. So we didn't quite have 12 pounds of apples to make the canned applesauce recipe, but I decided I'd still make some applesauce that we can use for fresh eating or bake into pies or breads or other desserts. Yeah. And maybe we'll make some apple butter today. Apple. Depending on how much patience we have. Chop.
Apple.
We have a kid knife. Chop. You chop. See, some of our apples are getting bites from little kids before I can even cut them up. So that's fine. I'll just cut that part off. We'll use the rest of the apple. Clearly we are getting restless, so I am going to take the apples that I have cut, peeled, and washed and cored. Put those into a freezer bag, and we'll come back to it later today. Apples were really good. It didn't get much video of this part of the process because my little one was tired of kitchen activities, so I left the pot on a low simmer and we went outside to play. I had every intention of coming back to can and jar the apple butter and make some apple bread with the applesauce, but we had no patience for that and instead played for the rest of the day, and the apple butter went into the fridge. The last step for the applesauce is to blend it up and prepare for storage. This applesauce is going in the fridge because I'm short on time, but if you follow the recipe in your ball canning and preserving cookbook, which I can link in the description, you can find easy steps for canning your applesauce and apple butter. You were too funny. This apple picking tradition is really important to me because in the year of 2020, when it was really hard for all of us to get together, my family was able to gather for a fall camping trip and we went apple picking together. This was the first year that I made the apple bread and it was a huge hit. This vegan apple bread recipe is so good, even the non-vegans in my family truly loved it. I found the recipe on Pinterest and I'll link it in the description as well if you want to try it. Every year since, me and my cousins, with little ones in tow, head to a cabin in central Ohio for campfires, canoeing, fall harvest activities, and big family-style meals. It's something that I look forward to every year, and I hope we can keep this tradition going for many years to come. Thanks so much for watching. I truly appreciate you being a part of this community and supporting my channel. Let me know in the comments, what is your favorite fall activity? If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy some of my other cooking and gardening videos as well. I'll link my cooking playlist as well as my most recent garden tour videos on the end screen and in the description for you to watch until my next upload. See you in the next one, friend. Bye!